Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and in the town of Triavna in the Balkan mountains in Bulgaria, there is a chestnut tree. Only one. It's in the suburb of former village of Poshkovci, exactly where the road for the city of Gabrovo starts. So it's very hard to miss. It's right at the bus station, at the basically biggest street fork in all the town. Well, let me go on the sidewalk. They have such a nice wide sidewalk, so I should go there. Well, it's a beautiful old tree. In some areas of... oh, this cat scared me. In some areas of Italy or Germany or Spain, it wouldn't be anything special. It's less than a meter thick, but for here it's extremely special. Not just because it's the oldest one, but also because it's basically the only one. Well, if you ask people in Bulgaria about chestnuts, they'll tell you, yeah, they're everywhere. But also the horse chestnuts. And they are usually everywhere, but right now I cannot see a single one. They are one of the most common, well, the horse chestnuts, the European chestnuts. Chestnut, Aesculus hippocastrum, is basically one of the most common street trees in Bulgaria and also in other countries. In Bulgaria it's native to one area near Preslav and it's used a lot as a roadside tree. But this here, this is rare in Bulgaria. There are actually two populations which are being considered native. One on the border with Greece and Macedonia in the Belasica mountains and one north of Sofia. That's it. Those are our two chestnut populations. And for some reason it is not even being cultivated on a significant scale in Bulgaria. It's very strange. I mean, Bulgaria is not a Mediterranean country, but it lies near the Mediterranean. And for thousands of years, chestnuts have been a staple in the Mediterranean, a staple food, especially in the mountains. Okay, parts of Bulgaria have quite a rough climate. Here the Balkans have quite a rough climate. I mean, grapevines grow here, but it's not really a wine growing area. Figs basically almost don't grow here in Triavna. It's too cold for them. But this thing here, this thing is much older than the modern climate change, which basically started hitting really hard since the 90s. This thing here is probably 80 to 100 years old, maybe even older. Not doing too well either, as you can see. It's getting, yeah, it's cracked. Well, chestnut wood, yeah, does this a lot, cracking. I don't know why it did it here. As you can see, it has been pruned severely and then it kind of regrew, but a lot of the branches which are still there are also dying back. I'm really glad they left it here because 20 years ago there were roadside trees along this road. There was, I think, lime/linden trees were here, and I think a couple horse chestnuts and other big trees. They have all been removed. They have all been removed except for the trees around this monument here. Yeah, and I'm really glad they left the chestnut. I don't know what this red sign here means. It probably means it's scheduled for being cut down. Oh God, I have to talk to the woman who is cutting them down here. She's actually living in my house. I have to tell her that this is a very rare tree for the area and that she should not cut it down, that this is the only tree in all of Triavna. Now let's go back to this question. Why is it the only tree around here? Chestnuts are great. You can roast chestnuts, you can cook chestnuts, you can make them in a stew, you can make bread and cake from them. And they have been a staple in Mediterranean cuisine for thousands of years. And it's not like Bulgaria was extremely isolated. I mean, it was colonized by Greek settlers. Well, not this area in the Balkans originally, but at least the coasts. And there are no chestnut forests there. It was part of the Roman Empire for centuries. It was part of the Byzantine and of the Ottoman Empire, all of them Mediterranean empires. It was part of Alexander's empire, more or less. Yeah, all of them Mediterranean empires with a lot of chestnut cultivation. Basically there, people would bring chestnuts everywhere and plant them everywhere. Why not in Bulgaria? Why only in two places in Bulgaria? Okay, this place at the Greek border, you could say it's quite a warm place, although I think the chestnuts are quite high up in the mountains where it's not that warm. But north of Sofia in the Balkan mountains, it's not that warm, not such a mild climate. So why don't they grow everywhere? Why don't we have thousands of those trees in the Balkan mountains? Apart from using them to feed people, you can use them to feed pigs and stuff. It's basically one of the most useful, maybe the most, yeah, it's basically the most useful plant in Mediterranean mountains. I mean, islands like Sardinia or Corsica in the mountains, people were surviving purely on those things. Even, yeah, Italy, Greece, Turkey, Spain, southern France, in the mountains, as long as there is no really basic limestone, but as long as there is something more sour, it is basically, yeah, it is being grown everywhere. Why not in Bulgaria? Why only 2 populations in Bulgaria, and why hasn't it been cultivated in gardens, in parks, in private gardens, in private orchards? Why only this one tree? This tree proves that it's possible. Well, here you see the male and female flowers. I wonder if they ever harvest decent fruits from this tree. I know in Germany, in areas where they don't grow, where they are only single trees, pollination is very bad, but there is some pollination. Funny. This is a real riddle for me. It was always a riddle for me why chestnuts don't grow in more areas of Bulgaria. And then when I found this old tree here in the town of Triavna, it was even a bigger riddle. So they can grow here. So people know them. People have planted them. Why are they not so popular? Even here people like to buy them on the market, especially around Christmas time. So folks, please tell me. Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from strange fruit and nut trees in the beautiful town of Triavna in Bulgaria. And of course, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.